Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. A local high school was put into lockdown following a shooting this morning. Prince Albert police were called to Westmore Community High School on 14th Avenue West just before 10:30. They were told a gun was discharged outside the school. Police believe it was an isolated incident and are investigating. Saskatoon's police chief says a former officer's friendship with a gang associate put the integrity of the police service at risk. Chief Cam McBride took the stand today at a hearing where a veteran officer is appealing his dismissal. Sergeant Robbie Taylor was fired from Saskatoon Police in March following an investigation into his friendship with someone associated with the Hells Angels. The associate cannot be named because of a publication ban. Chief McBride said part of his role is to ensure values and ethics are upheld at all times. He said the friendship contradicts the Code of Ethics, pointing to 3 times where he says Taylor used his role to try to benefit the associate. During cross-examination, McBride said there's no electronic evidence that Taylor leaked information to the associate. 5 days have been set aside for the hearing. The province has officially opened its Saskatoon Correctional Centre expansion. Officials and media were invited to tour the new building, which will have an additional 312 beds for offenders. The addition also has a medical unit which includes dental and optical services, and it will host inmates from across the province.
A lot of the work that's done within the facility is on the reintegration practices. It's on providing the life skills and addictions treatment programming, things like that, to address the underlying factors behind criminal behavior.
The expansion cost $135 million, and the project came in under budget and on schedule. 2 men have been arrested and charged in relation to a shooting incident last month which injured an 11-year-old girl in Regina. On August 11th, police were called to Regina's Eastview neighborhood after 2 a.m. following a report of a gunshot. A girl was inside a home and in the area and was suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. 20-year-old Anthony Nabexy and 18-year-old Deacon Nabexy both faced charges including attempted murder. Both were in provincial court on Wednesday. If you're in the clouds, it's not too great, Jeff, but if you got a little bit of sun, not bad for a September day.
Not bad at all. Now, we are anticipating some slightly cooler temperatures, John, but really it's still going to be above seasonal in many locations. That includes Prince Albert, or maybe seasonal in Prince Albert area, but we'll talk about that in a little bit here. Keeping our eye on this big system down in the western United States and parts of the Midwest that is slowly going to creep northward and impact parts of southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba. We'll keep our eye on that, but other than that, staying quiet in terms of active weather and staying warmer than seasonal for most locations. Details coming up later.
The federal government's decision to pause its zero-emission vehicle sales mandate is being met with approval in Saskatchewan. 2 weeks ago, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced a 1-year delay to a mandate that would have required 20% of all new cars sold to be zero-emission vehicles. Ottawa will be reviewing the mandate for 60 days during the pause to examine the economic pressure on manufacturers due to tariffs. In Saskatchewan, vehicle sales are up more than 10% compared to last year, but dealers say electric vehicles weren't driving demand, with infrastructure many years behind the mandate's goal.
California numbers of 12 vehicles for 1 charger. We were going to be on pace to be over 52,000 chargers short in the province of Saskatchewan alone by 2035. So really, as it was, not a possibility.
Saskatchewan auto sales are on track to be their highest in nearly 10 years. Supporters and mourners gathered at the Saskatchewan Legislative Building for a vigil for Charlie Kirk. Kirk was shot during an appearance at Utah Valley University last week. The activist was the founder of the conservative youth organization Turning Point USA. The vigil drew hundreds of people to the legislative grounds. It's been almost 30 years since the SJHL added a hockey team, and that's why the city of Warman is hyped for the season opener of the Wolverines. Tickets for that game on Friday are sold out, with 500 season tickets already spoken for. Last-minute preparations are being done at the Warman Communiplex, including by the team's owners. The team says it's modeling home games after WHL broadcasts, complete with pregame light and fog shows and a large TV display. The team is looking to give a modern look to a familiar SJHL experience, and the community appears to be on board too.
It's been just super the way the town has come around and said, hey, we'll buy tickets, we'll come out. We've sold out for this game already, obviously. We're looking hopefully at doing some standing room seats only right away. So I think that's going to be a big thing that we're going to announce in the next couple days.
The team store has seen jerseys and hoodies fly off the shelves with orders placed for more already. One of the suppliers that makes the clothing is based in Saskatoon. When we come back, we'll talk about the Prince Albert Timberjacks. They're hosting a unique outdoor fundraiser that's sure to be a hit. It's exhibition season for the Prince Albert Timberjacks. They had a match against on Sunday against the Saskatoon Quakers. They have another one tonight, but we're talking today about a very special fundraising opportunity that the Timberjacks are putting on. I'm joined by Ken Malenfant, the president of the PA Timberjacks. Thanks for joining us, first of all. I know it's a busy time of year, this time of year in hockey season.
Hi, John. Yeah, no, absolutely it is. We're just getting fired up in the Prairie Junior Hockey League. And yeah, you're right. We have a drive-in cinema coming up this Saturday here, September 20th in Prince Albert.
Exactly. Well, then that's the big fundraiser. And first of all, I mean, I grew up, I went through hockey. It was always bingo, and your parents would come at home, you know, smelling like cigarettes or whatever, and it just wasn't fun. This seems like a fun and a great fundraiser. So is this the first of its kind for your team?
It is, yeah. It's the first annual for us. We've done some cabarets in the past in the fall to kind of get the community engaged and so on with the team. This year we decided to go more of a family orientated type event, and I think so far it looks like it's going to be a fabulous event. So yeah, we're just trying to promote it here and have everybody come out and enjoy just a couple movies and sort of an old school, some nostalgia drive-in theater here in Prince Albert.
You hit the nail right on the head. Anytime I think drive-in theater, I just think of a better time, a simpler time, as they say. And then let's talk about the two movies, because it's not just one. You guys are doing a double feature. So which two movies?
The two movies, the first one is The Goonies, which is an absolute classic, of course.
Yeah. And
the second feature is going to be the F1 movie, which just released. Lucky to get it, I guess. So, you know, all those Brad Pitt fans, so girls, bring your guys out, or guys, bring your girls out, because there should be some fun times.
Well, there you go. And believe it or not, I'm a big F1 fan. I still haven't seen the movie, so maybe I know what I'm going to be doing on the night. But as we get into the regular season starts, I believe, September 26th. Have you guys noticed with, you know, all of the changes in junior hockey, junior A, NCAA eligibility, have you noticed, is it too early to notice a shift, maybe more players, less players, more opportunity for local players to play junior hockey?
Yeah, you know, at our level, it might be a little bit early to notice that, if that's going to affect us at all. You know, we're primarily community-based players. We have, you know, a few kids from outer-lying communities outside of Saskatoon and outside of Prince Albert, of course. You know, Prince Albert, we serve the north, so we have lots of kids from across the north as well that try out and, you know, hopefully be successful in joining our club. But I think, you know, it's more going to affect the major juniors and the junior A leagues versus the junior B league is what we're in. But it's hard to say. We'll see. Yeah, so far we're getting some good players coming out, and you know, it's fun, entertaining hockey. A lot of these guys have just chosen different routes. They probably can play junior A, but they're working or going to school, and it's just a little less demanding on them. So it really fits their schedule.
Well, another northern community that I spent a little bit of time in, and the junior B there was kind of the only ticket in town, and they really made it work. And there is something about living close to home and playing your junior hockey. I traveled all over Western Canada as a kid, so there's something to be said about playing close to home, being close to your family, and then most importantly, getting out into the working world while still being an athlete, I think is a really underappreciated trait of that junior B kind of environment.
Yeah, you bet it is. And, you know, selfishly, the parents as well and grandparents, You know, those minor hockey days are over, but they still get a little bit of a glimpse to watch their son play a little bit more hockey. So yeah, it's just an all-around great thing. We've got a great bunch of volunteers here in Prince Albert that make the bus go, and we're just lucky to have these people involved. Our community members, all of our partners, sponsoring the drive-in. We just threw it out to a couple businesses, and we had Lake Country Co-op come on board right away and say, we're right behind this. This is exactly what we like to do. Coke, Old Dutch, Madden Northway, Lake Ridge Drywall, Canadian Brewhouse really stepped up as well. So that's just to name a few, and then we've got lots of sponsors for the year as well. So.
Well, you said it. The community makes all of this stuff, sports, any event go round, and it's a big hand for the community. And make sure you're heading out to the drive-in movie night. One more time, where and when?
It's at the NRRC, which is formerly the Buckland Arena, just north of Prince Albert, 3 miles behind the Red Wing School. It's a great location. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we need your support, PA and their area. So hopefully you can come out and support us. We've got room for about 120 cars. So the plan is to pack the parking lot.
All right, well, bring the milk duds, bring the popcorn. Ken Malenfant, the president of the Prince Albert Timberjacks, joining us ahead of the drive-in movie night. Thanks for joining us, Ken.
Thanks, John.
After the break, Jeff has a look at weather, and later, cancer being diagnosed in the emergency room, a sign of the lack of access to family doctors. So we're now into the period of the year, Jeff, where it's kind of like the curious case of Benjamin Button. The temperatures are slowly going back. They were 20-year-olds a couple of days ago. They're starting to inch back towards teens. Yeah, well, it seems that way. We've had ourselves some warm conditions. I think that's where you're going with this. Because, Benjamin Button analogies sometimes are a bit tricky to deal with. But yes, we are seeing temperatures getting nicer, if that's where we're going, younger, as we make our way into the weekend. Oh, wait a second. Now I see where you're going. The teens and okay, forget it. I messed up. Anyhow, yes, we've got some Benjamin Button temperatures on the way, but then they're going to be reversing themselves as we head into the weekend. I'm sure I've made that as clear as mud. Anyhow, what we've got going on here, keeping our eye on this big area of active weather down in the U.S. that is going to impact parts of southern Saskatchewan, but that big Omega block, that big high-pressure ridge is still in place in Western Canada, and that's making all the difference in the world. A bit of a rainy situation out on Canada's west coast if you're heading out that way, and if you're doing some traveling out towards Eastern Canada, next couple of days are going to be hot and humid in southern Ontario and southern Quebec, but then really cooling off as we head into the weekend. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at our futurecast. As you can see, the computer modeling indicating we might see it's not like it's going to be a really windy situation, a bit windier in northern areas than in the Southland, but you can certainly see that system in the U.S. starting to slowly creep up through North Dakota into parts of southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba. We'll just see how much of an impact it's going to bring. Some pretty consistent temperatures across the Lakeland region in and around Prince Albert, and skies are either clear or clearing. Some locations dealing with a bit of fog patches overnight, but 8 degrees for Spiritwood, 9 in the Battlefords, 8 in Candle Lake, Birch Hills, Rostern, and Melfort, and Nipawin's overnight temperature 9 degrees. On to Thursday. Well, 18 degrees for a daytime high with mainly cloudy skies in Spiritwood, 21 and mainly cloudy in North Battleford. In fact, mainly cloudy skies throughout the region. 18 for a high in Candle Lake, the same for Birch Hills and Rostern, 19 the expected daytime highs in Nipawin and Melfort, so essentially seasonal or slightly above for the Lakeland region. Now on to Prince Albert. Well, a little different situation in some respects because clear skies tonight, winds out of the southeast 10 men. Prince Albert's one of those locations that will deal with some fog patches overnight, but then as we roll into tomorrow, well, that fog goes bye-bye, and temperatures do warm up. 18 degrees, pretty much seasonal for this time of year. Mainly cloudy conditions and the winds out of the southeast at 15. And then as we take a look at the 7-day forecast for the Gateway City,
As we mentioned, tomorrow 18 degrees, 19 on Friday, but reverse Benjamin Button, 24 on Saturday with cloudy skies, mainly cloudy skies, and then mainly sunny skies on Sunday. So a nice weekend, temperatures of around 25 degrees. And then Monday, fall arrives. The autumnal equinox happens at 12:19 in the afternoon on Monday. So just a little afternoon hour, we've got ourselves the fall equinox. Mainly cloudy conditions, but temperatures above seasonal, and then warming up again a little bit. Mainly sunny skies on Tuesday and Wednesday, with temperatures hanging around 23 degrees. So all in all, a pretty pleasant forecast, and I would think good harvesting weather as well.
There you go. You have a good point there. And boy, it seems like no matter what kind of car I give you with no matter what kind of missing wheels, you find a parking spot, eh? That seems to be the way.
I'll try my best, buddy.
Well, speaking of parking spaces, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are hoping to bring a proper tailgating experience to fans next season. In an email to season ticket holders, the team says it's working with the government of Saskatchewan, hoping to bring legal tailgating to Mosaic Stadium next season. Season ticket holders would have first access to tailgating spaces if the proposal goes ahead. Several other CFL markets also allow tailgating at their grounds, including in Calgary, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. The team didn't give more comments, but says it's always looking for ways to improve the fan experience. And the Saskatchewan Huskies will try to get back on track this week as they host the provincial rivals, the Regina Rams, this weekend.
We're advertising it as homecoming too, so hopefully you're gonna get a big crowd out, and yeah, it's always a good game between us and the Rams.
Yeah, it's a one-off with them this year, so we know we got to win this one. We're treating it like a playoff game, and yeah, obviously we remember the Hardy Cup last year.
This Friday will be the only meeting of this regular season between the Regina Rams and Saskatchewan Huskies. The Huskies are 2-1 on the season and coming off a tough loss to Manitoba last week. Meanwhile, provincial rivals Regina are undefeated so far, and they'll be bringing a powerful offense led by running back Marshall Erickson. Huskies head coach Scott Flory says his team will have to capitalize on the opportunities when they're there, something they felt the team didn't do against the Bisons.
We missed a whole bunch of stuff, and that wasn't anything that they did or nothing against them. It's just that, like, when we look at ourselves and we look ourselves in the mirror, we know that we let one get away, and we got to do everything to right our wrongs here this week.
These teams faced each other last in the conference championship last season. The rematch goes Friday at 7 o'clock at Griffith Stadium. And we said it, it's a huge rivalry in college football, the Rams and Huskies that are going to do battle in Saskatoon this week. And we found some rare footage of when these two teams faced each other for the very first time. Matt Young has this week's Classic Sports Moments.
The Regina Rams and Saskatchewan Huskies have faced each other 47 times in history, and we found rare footage of the very first game between the provincial rivals. The Rams and Huskies locked horns for the very first time on September 11th, 1999 in Saskatoon. On that day, the Rams got off to a good start when quarterback Mike Wong found Jason Claremont for a nice 20-yard gain. Then Neil Hughes on an 8-yard run would get Regina on the board first with a touchdown. The Rams would add a field goal after recovering the ball on a turnover after the Huskies mishandled a punt. It was 11-0 for the Rams before the defending Vanier Cup champions would turn it on. Doug Rosen would turn on the Jets during a 70-yard run to get the Huskies on the board. Then the Huskies' defense would tighten up. Mike Beasley would have 2 interceptions on the day for Saskatchewan, including this one late in the first quarter. After that, the Huskies would capitalize, adding a touchdown, and from then on, the rout was on. At one point, the Huskies would put up 35 unanswered points on the board and ended up beating the Rams 56-12. It started what would become one of the best rivalries in college football, as a Rams and Huskies matchup would always be circled on the football calendar in our province each year.
And if you want to check out more classic sports moments from the days of Wilco and Woodfinish televisions, you can check them out on our website.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
new study of our healthcare system examines when a cancer diagnosis is made in an emergency room at a hospital. It's a situation becoming more common amid a shortage of family doctors and long waits for diagnostic testing. CTV Health reporter Pauline Chan has more.
Emergency departments are unique. We often provide episodic care, so we only see a patient once and we don't have ways to follow up with patients, make sure that referrals that were sent actually happen.
A recent study by Dr. Kirat Gurwal shows an increasing number of cancer patients are actually being diagnosed during a visit to the emergency room, pointing to the lack of access to family physicians.
We interviewed 20 emergency physicians across Ontario.
The problems range from the environment.
Emergency departments are routinely overcrowded. Patients who have suspected cancer diagnoses are often seen in waiting rooms and hallways, and having these discussions can be difficult for both patients and providers.
To the follow-up, as biopsies are usually required for a cancer confirmation and any referral to an oncologist.
The challenge with the emergency providers is they don't have that continuity with the patient. So they can make the referral, but oftentimes we'll get referral rejections, which is one of the things that came up in the study.
Gurwal is calling for more standardization of access to screening and care. She points to programs that already screen for breast or lung cancer.
And if you have a patient with suspected lung cancer in the emergency department, you can be fairly confident that they will reliably be followed up in a timely fashion.
We know that screening guidelines are the age is getting younger and younger. And in some of the young adult patients that I care for, we're often reminding them that the goal is to get screening when you feel well.
And Dr. Alicia Kazam says some screening can even be done by self-referral. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
All right, Jeff, traveling in a group or with your family can usually lead to unexpected surprises like this one. So Dad was booking the travel, and he didn't double check the booking for the ride to bring the family to the airport at 4 a.m. The whole sleepy squad ended up on a party bus. There you go. That's a good way to start your holiday, or maybe that does start your holiday off the right way.
Nice jump start there for the holidays, what I think. Yeah, it's Dad didn't notice the price. This is it's like, wow, this limo ride's pretty expensive. Okay.
What's the title of the company? And I mean, I don't even know if I want to throw out some option names, but it was probably...
If there's some champagne supplied, all right.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. So
you're flying before you're flying.
There you go. And you know what's probably also funny? They probably got chirped for picking that bus, but the plan was made.